official call is under review. Let's go to the monitor.
SEC football, it just means more. Now back to your favorite bearded duo, Todd and Marty.
What's up, guys, and welcome to our college football playoff results show, episode 38 here on the Under Review podcast. And as always,
it's Christmas time.
Okay. Apparently the autistic kid has joined us this week. Or once again, we're always here. I am your host, Todd. Alongside me is my co-host, Marty.
Ho, ho, ho. What's up, guys? Merry Christmas.
Yeah, this is the last show we have before Christmas. We are taking Christmas off, so last show of Christmas, or before Christmas at least, whatever it is.
This thing's gonna...
We'll get it right. Quit playing with your balls on screen.
Yeah, well, I feel like a cat.
But as we always know, the games last night were played, and then we also have one other SEC game to go over, which will be the Gasparilla Bowl in Florida. But before all that is being said, let's take a quick moment and hear from Chuck.
This episode of the Under Review podcast is brought to you by Chuck's Heating and Air. Chuck has over 40 years of service and experience with residential services. He services most makes and models. He is Alabama licensed, bonded, and insured, and locally owned and operated. Are you hot and you're supposed to be cool? Are you cool and you're supposed to be hot? Then you've got a problem. Call Chuck. Area code 256-892-2757. Again, 256-892-2757. Chuck's Heating and Air.
Thank you, as always, for Chuck keeping us cold in the summer and warm in the winters.
I was hoping you wouldn't mess that up.
As we can see, I have my not my central heat, but my heater over here because I am cold in this room today.
Poor babies. Chuck keeps me nice and warm.
Yeah, well, I don't want to pay for the whole of my thing, so. Anywho, you got the Gasparilla Bowl first?
I do, and I don't understand why it's off-center like that.
Well, good job. You did it. The Gasparilla Bowl bought us the 9-4 Toledo Green Waves and the 7-5 Florida Gators, as Florida just shut them out 33-8 as the Gasparilla Bowl MVP DJ Lagway.
Yeah, do you know what a Gasparilla is or why it's named that?
I do not want to hear this because we literally went through this last week.
Well, fine.
Because I already did the research.
I heard it on when I was watching the ball game. They was telling me about it.
I did the research first.
Yeah, but I'll let somebody else do it. I got short-term memory.
Anyway,
like I said, Florida looks really good. Not to say that Tulane is a super bad team, but this squeaky chair is going to get on my nerves already.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Florida just stellar performance. 529 yards total offense, 305 in the air, 244 on the ground. They really, for this being an 8-win team here, Todd, like we said in the beginning, I'd have never thunk it. Never thunk it.
Not with this Florida Gator team. But that also was, I didn't see them going that far with Graham Mertz. I did say, if they would have played DJ Lagway, who's saying this team would not have probably won 10 games this season?
Most definitely. Again, like I put MVP. Lagway, he really did it all as far as, 305 yards, 1 touchdown on 22 for 35 passing, which is pretty stellar. And I think he did have some rushing yards, but not that many to jump around.
4 rushes for 4 yards.
Hey, at least he was consistent. And
1 yard a carry.
Yeah, Florida's defense stepped up again too. They held Tulane to 194 yards total offense, only 69 rushing yards. So I I think they've got a bright future here. I know it was very questionable at the beginning of the season, but now I'm okay with that. That's shocking, but nonetheless, it's still there.
Yeah. Big note for Tulane. They were out there starting quarterback this year.
Yes.
They got him to this bowl game. So Ty Thompson had to come in. 11 for 29, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. And then their big running back, Malik Hughes, who decided he wasn't going to show up today. 8 carries, 29 yards. And then flipping over back, you said to the Florida side, DJ Lagway, 22 for 35, 305 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. But Jaden Baugh and Jacoby Jackson really set the scene on the running back core. 14 carries for 70 yards for Baugh. Jackson had 12 carries, 57 yards. Different receivers, so I don't know what was going on with Elijah Badger and all these other guys, but I guess it really don't matter if you win 33-8 in your last game of the season.
And I think it's worth noting that Florida really had another MVP guy. He scored 50 points. He was, 100% at everything he done. He hit all 3 of his extra points and was 4 for 4. Trey Smack really did his job. Yeah, he really did his job.
Jeremy Crenshaw as well. 3 punts, 126 yards, 42 average. Good little kicker.
Yeah, this is, like I was saying, if this is for the future, I think Florida can really start moving up and making a little bit more impact next season.
But let's see what we got next. Hey,
So before
I do
we
like
jump
those
in,
edits. I'm sorry.
Did you like? Was that pretty cool?
I liked it. I didn't know that they was going to go that far with them.
Yeah, I played around with it, but no, like I said, let's talk about it. This is where the rubber meets the road. Is with the first round of the college football playoff. Before we jump into the games, just my overall. Even me and Dad talked about it. Brittany and I talked about it. I don't think the committee got it right in a lot of places. I thought some of these were trash games. Really, the closest game that I seen was the Clemson game, and it really wasn't kind of close till the end.
The closest game, honestly, was the Indiana Notre Dame game. 10-point game.
But I'm talking to a child. I think I need that bag, baby. If not, that's fine. I'll find something. She's getting presents ready for tonight. But no, I said, as much as I pulled for SMU this year, they got obliterated. There was not a whole lot of them. I didn't think, really thought Alabama should have been here. And I know that's weird for me to say, but I think Alabama could have been a way better game whether they played Penn State or Notre Dame. Or even Miami. I thought Miami could have been a better fix here with some of these lower teams. And I hated that I say Clemson got that bye right there because they messed around and beat SMU. But nonetheless, it is what it is.
I have no idea what you just said, that last part. But the first game we're going to get into, which to me kind of was like, hey, this team shouldn't be in here. And then as the game got closer in the fourth quarter, as Indiana scores 14 points, makes it a little bit closer, gets an onside kick, was the first game of the year, of the playoffs. They brought in number 10 ranked 11-1 Indiana, and then number 7 ranked 11-1 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish held off in South Bend 27-17 and kept the Hoosiers, who most thought shouldn't have been in there, from advancing.
Yes, and this Notre Dame, Hunchback, Notre Dame, yeah, they kind of loosened the reins a little bit late, and that's not to where they play keep the foot on the gas kind of thing. And then Indiana did score them last 2 touchdowns. With York, I thought he played exceptionally well. 20 for 32, 215, and 2 touchdowns. He only threw 1 pick, but I think that was a kind of an overthrow, and it got picked in the red zone.
Yeah, the first drive of the game.
Right. So, but I think he kind of did shake them around. I haven't really been on Indiana's bandwagon all year, but they did prove to some point where they did come back. they struggled rushing. Only 63 total rushing yards through the whole game, and only put up 278 across the whole board. Unlike Notre Dame, who looked really, really good. Riley Leonard, 23-32, 201 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He looked good. But like we said, the MVP there is my guy. I think it's Jeremiah Love. Love.
Jeremiah Love.
Look, he spells it with
a Y.
A Y and an L. 8 carries, 108 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging 13.5 yards a carry. And he had that long 98-yard touchdown that was crazy.
Well, you say that, and you say he's the MVP, but behind 1 carry, dude only has 10 yards.
I think, and that saying that is that they needed that touchdown then.
It was a spark. I think Indiana just thrown an interception. They're on the 2-yard line. Mm-hmm. 1 play end zone. I mean,
like you said, I think that was the spark they needed to kind of get motivated and get fired up. Like I said, we could have went Riley Leonard with this one as well. I mean, I thought he played good.
Faison.
Oh yeah. So I wasn't a fan of this game. Like you said, it was closer at the end. I mean, Notre Dame almost 400 yards total, 201 in the air, 193. So pretty well rounded for this team. I figured it would be more of a blowout, closer to 40 something points.
Like some of the other games.
I'm gonna get me stirred up. But no, like I said, it is what it is.
I mean, okay, should Indiana have been in the playoffs? No. Should Notre Dame been in the playoffs? No. But how are you taking these teams out with the like we said before, with the poll that they had the week before come out? You can't knock them back because they didn't play in a bowl game. I mean, me and you've talked about it before. Don't have that poll until the last day of the season. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so you don't have this mix-up. Okay, with Alabama, Ole Miss, and Miami being better teams than Indiana, SMU, what looked like Tennessee.
Yeah, shocking there.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just is what it is. You can't be mad. And, there's always going to be people. I haven't even looked this morning because I don't want to see it. Alabama should have been in. Miami should have been. It's everywhere because I know it's going to happen. But you can't say that because Indiana's 11-1, but we go off schedule. But it just is what it is. I mean,
I think and with anything, even like the last couple of years when they did the smaller playoff, it's who's in, who's out. That's always the biggest thing. And then after the games are over, if it was a blowout like
Georgia, Florida State,
and all that, then that's when people are going to armchair quarterback this whole thing. And I won't say kind of like what we're doing, but there's they've got to figure out a form, and hopefully next year it gets better. Is how they do things. But,
I mean, if you look at all 4 of the games played, the only one on paper that didn't look like a good game was this one.
Yeah, and turned out to be the closest game of the...
Right, because Penn State, SMU, on paper, going to be a good game.
Oh, most definitely.
Texas, Clemson, on paper. Oh, it's about to be a blowout. This is going to be a good one, you know what I mean? A shootout is what I mean. And then Ohio State, Tennessee, buckle up because you're about to be in for some very good football.
That's what when me and Brittany got up that morning because Sis did her Christmas and stuff, and when we got breakfast made, we were super excited for that game all day. We waited and waited.
I was too.
Because then I had Auburn flicked on the TV, and I was watching it and watching the thing.
That was a good game.
Brittany's like, oh, how about it? Brittany was just like, man, I can't wait till the Tennessee game. She says, that's the only time I pull for Tennessee, this, that, and other. But, and then it was a freaking dud. I worked on graphics most of that game for the show and stuff. So, I mean, I can't say I didn't get much done. Yeah. I seen that picture Maddie sent with you and not taking a fine nap earlier.
Hey, look. That boy got up at 7:30. He's ready for a nap.
All right, man. Let's jump into the next one. All right. I forgot
Notre Dame will play Georgia on New Year's Day at 7:45, but we'll get into that on a later show. Now let's go to our second matchup, which brought us the 11-2 SMU Mustangs, and the 11th ranked SMU Mustangs, and the 6th ranked 11-2 Penn State Nittany Lions. And what a wideout that was, first of all, before I say the score. Yeah. That was massive. Like, when I saw that wideout, I was like, oh, SMU ain't got no chance. And they didn't. As Penn State wins 38-10, and the defense takes on the MVP because Kelvin Jennings, with 2 pick sixes, first of all, but 3 interceptions, the turnover bug bit him and bit him often.
Yeah, he had the turnover flu. It was as good as he's played all year. This game was terrible to watch, and I felt bad for him. He threw that second pick six. I'm like, Brittany, this is getting out of hand. And man, he couldn't walk without stepping over his own shoestrings, and it was bad to watch. But wow, and I expected so much more from this game. Mm-hmm. Like you said, the atmosphere there. Auburn had that wideout a couple of years ago. Again, didn't they go up to Penn State and get the wideout?
Yeah, you know who our coach was? Freaking Potato Head.
So no, I do. That's one of the little college football things I do like when they do whiteouts, blackouts, and my Santa hat's crooked and all that stuff. But no, really, I just SMU, like you said, Ken Jennings, 3 picks, 1 touchdown. I mean, his throwing ratio wasn't bad, 20 for 36. But if they would have counted the other 3, they were all to white jerseys.
Yeah. At least they were completed passes.
Well, this is true, but man, it was hard to watch for him. And I know when you're in that moment and you've already threw that second pick six, you come back out and you're trying to overdo. And I think that's what mindset that he was in.
Yeah.
But
as long as I don't throw a third pick six, we're still in this game.
Well, kind of, sort of, but man, SMU, they just struggled all around. 58 total rushing yards. The Penn State defense was playing like their hair was on fire. SMU only totaled out with 253 total yards and then 195 in the air. That was, Jennings, he did find the right receivers on a lot of plays, but they just couldn't get momentum going as Penn State just beat the dog stew out of them.
Yeah, I was hoping this game was different. I really was. But Kevin Jennings, 20 for 36, 195 yards, 5.4 average, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. When he threw that third interception, I thought he was about to freaking
cry. Just take his helmet off and go to
pull Caleb Williams. But then on the other side, Drew Aller went 13 for 22, only 127 yards. So they were relying solely on their defense this game.
And with good reason, because Penn State's defense, 41 solo tackles, 3 sacks, 11 tackles for losses, and 2 pick sixes. What a stellar day for that defense.
Yeah, I'd rely on that too. I mean, Drew Aller, decent quarterback, to be honest. I'm not high on his presence.
No, as well either. But then, even like I said, defense held this thing together, but offense didn't play bad. They had 3 rushing touchdowns. Caton Allen had 2, Nate Singleton with 1. So Drew really didn't have to do all that much when your running game is running as efficient as they were.
Yeah, when you have 2 running backs just blow out their team, Mm-hmm. I was hoping for a closer game. Like you said, on paper, this game was supposed to be closer. But, that's what you're getting. And, that's what you're getting in these situations when you're having home field advantage for a playoff game.
And I do like that. That's super cool to have.
Let's be real. You can say, oh, these teams didn't deserve it. But in what standard are you going up against in a wideout? And, you're not used to the cold and all this other stuff, and beating that out. You're going to South Bend. Take that into consideration when you're talking about these things because, Alabama or Miami would have been better in that situation. Okay, let Miami go play in that wideout. And that atmosphere that was in that game for SMU, I like Miami as a team. But Penn State, I'll get it right here in a little bit. Penn State might beat them.
Yeah, and I think there's certain home field advantages that you just can't replicate, like night games in Death Valley. You can't replicate that. I know I've seen a lot before, coaches pumping in sound into their practices and stuff like that.
You can only get so loud, though.
You can only get so loud. That atmosphere, that feeling, that chill that runs down your spine when you walk out of the tunnel kind of thing.
LSU fans have caused an earthquake almost.
Oh, I know that.
That's how crazy it is.
Right,
you can't replicate that.
No. So, and I get that. And they did say the same thing about Tennessee going into Ohio State. The weather being, it was like, I think, no, this game here, it was 25. It was 25 degrees, but I think with the
that
wind
was
chill.
his earlier game, too.
Yeah,
it was cold as piss in that Ohio State game.
Yeah, look, I said Brittany was on the couch and she was just all covered up. She's just already making me cold. But no, you can't replicate that. And I think that is kind of I do like that fact that they're doing the games that way. And then it goes to neutral sites once you get to the quarterfinals. But I do like that. That's a little fun more. I do think could be a lot more work done for the committee and stuff, but
again, I feel the same way. I said committee got it right at the beginning, and I do believe yes, because like I said last time, on paper they got some great games. Yep. They did everything right. It's just home field advantages prevails. All the home teams won this past week, so no away team came in and caused an upset. So maybe they do look at that and be like, well, there wasn't no upsets, but when that first team gets that upset next year or the year after, whenever it is, it's going to be like, this is why we did what we did.
Yeah, I get
it's
that,
just a big old circle. It's got to come into fruition.
It's a learning thing, but I mean, we gripe about it now. What are you doing, child?
But also, this Penn State on New Year's Eve, the 31st, 6:30 on ESPN, will face the number 3 Boise State Broncos inside the Fiesta Bowl.
Oh, the Fiesta Bowl.
Oh, this is for all the Tostitos.
That's still one of my favorite lines of all times. That was the crazy. Sweating, got your nerves all in a knot, and then you hear him, this is for all the Tostitos.
Oh, Nussburger.
Auburn wins the national. Okay, anyway, that's beside the point.
Anyways. So the next matchup brought us the 12 seed, 10-3 ACC champion Clemson Tigers into DKR as the 11-2 5-ranked Texas Longhorns edged them out with Matthew McConaughey on the sidelines once again, 38-24, and Jaden Blue 14 carries, 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. Have yourself a day, young man.
Yeah, his longest rush was that 77-yard that he got banged up a little bit, and then he turned on the afterburners, and he went ham. Exactly, and it was so fun to watch him play. This was I enjoyed this part of the game, watching him run, and they really done what they were supposed to do. So I think I told Brittany during the thing is Texas looked clean. They looked like they could win the national championship.
Pump the brakes.
I said they looked like it. I didn't say they would.
Yeah, pump the brakes. I mean, you're playing at home against Clemson, and most people say, hey, Clemson shouldn't be there. They're a 3-loss team. Okay, not their 4-loss team. But they won their championship. Let's be real. There's the man. Chuck's heating in air.
See you this evening.
Alrighty. You could say that Clemson shouldn't be there. They're a 3-loss team. Okay. But you was also at the same point trying to get Ole Miss and Alabama in there. They're a 3-loss team. So
yeah. So as Bart Simpson say, damned if you do, damned if you don't in this kind of situation.
You are. I mean, I think Clemson did play a good game.
Yeah.
They just got outmanned in that second quarter, and they couldn't come back.
No, I thought the same. I thought, Sark had a game plan. He really did. And they just outstanding. I thought Texas played the best of all 8 of these teams this week. So, I mean, Texas 494 total offensive yards, but they broke it up really well. 202 on the ground and 292. Nope.
Get it right.
Backwards. Yeah. 292 on the ground, 202 in the air.
Yeah.
But flip it to the other side. Texas really kept them in check as far as rushing. Clemson only had 76 rushing yards. But
yeah. Klubnik.
Yeah, whatever it is. He threw for 336. So, I mean, and I thought he played well. He was one of the kids. I enjoyed watching him as well because he kept fighting. He didn't give up. He was getting knocked around, beat around. Kid still threw 3 touchdowns. And usually if your quarterback throws for 3 touchdowns, you're going to win.
You're in good standards.
Right. So, but then Texas they checked all the boxes. Jaden Blue, the impressive runs he had.
What did you say?
I fumbled through it. Had a slight.
You had a stroke.
I did. About mid-sentence. Jaden Blue. But no, you was played really good as well. I mean, I won't say almost perfect, but 17 for 14, 202, 1 pick, 1 touchdown. Dad and I talked about it. Well, Manning got a little bit of playing time. He was in with some of the short yardage.
He ran for no yardage. So, I mean, he had a pretty productive game.
Yeah, so I'm not going to think him there, but a guy that I've talked about pretty much most of the season, one of my favorite tight ends this year. Gunnar Helm. 77 yards, 1 touchdown, so 6 reception. Just super big. Not as big as I'd say like Lutzenkirchen was, but just that big upper body. Catches it and can run through you. One of my favorites of the year.
I'll take you to the other side on the Clemson Tigers. Their big tight end and Jake Brinkstall, number 9. He had a pretty decent game too. 4 catches for 69 yards. He's another one of those big tight ends that you want on your team.
That you want to anchor with, yeah.
What hurt the Clemson Tigers the most was their rushing game. And Phil Maffa had 2 carries for only 9 yards. You can't win ball games like that.
No, and that's going to get back to Texas's defense being so stellar, putting hats on hats and stuff like that.
I am breaking your chair tonight.
Well, I swapped them up because I sit in this chair so I'll see the Grinch. It's a Grinch.
WD-40 or something.
I've got 2 cans. Impromptu move here.
But Anthony Hill Jr. had a pretty decent game at 9 total tackles, 7 solos. But the big guy on that defense was Ethan Burt. 4 total tackles, 3 solos, 1 sack, and 1.5 tackle for losses. So, I mean, kid was, like you said, Texas' defense was everywhere. Texas wins, as we know, 38-24, and will move on to face Arizona State inside the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia.
Fine Chick-fil-A Bowl.
Yeah. You can go to the low price of $1,740 for that game right now.
I can get Chick-fil-A here for like $20. So
yeah, we ain't gotta have the football tickets.
Yeah.
And then the nightcap. Was the 9 ranked? Yeah, pretty much. Here, I'll do this one for you.
Yeah, yeah. For one team, maybe.
The 9 ranked 10-2 Tennessee Volunteers went into the shoe to face the 10-2 Ohio State 8th ranked Buckeyes, and the Buckeyes were all over it. My MVP was Tavion Henderson, 10 carries, 80 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Him and Judkins all season have been doing this, but it's mostly been Judkins.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip pan, Dylan Sampson got hurt in the first quarter, and that's all she wrote for Tennessee. Let's be real. That
was big.
That was it, because, let's see, pulling up the stats. Dylan Sampson, 2 carries for 6 yards, kind of like Phil Maffa in the last game. You're not winning games like that. Will Howard had more rushing yards than him.
Yeah, that was one of my big keys before this, was to get Dylan Sampson started.
Yeah.
Let your line be there and do things like you're supposed to do.
Get him moving early and often, and they didn't.
Yes.
They was mostly stuck with Peyton Lewis running the ball, which did decent. I mean, for any other game, I would want this as a running back. 10 carries, 77 yards. Any other game but this game.
Oh, yeah. Well, like you said about Trevor, he's my next guy on my list. Like you said, the 80 yards, 10 carries, 2 picks, or 2 touchdowns. Hold up.
I didn't know he could throw picks as running backs. Well, I mean, I should have. Jarquez Hunter threw one. SEC girl.
So no, like I said, there could have been two easily MVPs for this game, but Texas not Texas, the other orange, this orange and T teams, because I had to go back and do this stat because I had put all these numbers on the Texas one and it was a whole trying to go to bed.
Yeah,
I was still trying, but no. And I think really the biggest part to me, not besides these key players, was Ohio State's offensive defensive line. They controlled the tempo the whole game.
Big guy on that defense, Cody Simon, 12 tackles, 5 solos, 1 pass deflection. A third guy that you could put in that MVP player was the true freshman Jeremiah Smith, 6 catches, 103 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, like I said, I had some of them guys on my list too. I mean, OU's defense, 4 sacks, 6 tackles for losses, 31 solos combined as a team. Then I had Cody Simon and then TJ Tulamagaloa.
Yeah, JT.
Five solo tackles and 2 sacks. Really big for that to really punch Tennessee in the mouth all game. I mean, I seen a couple comments about some of the reffing, but no, it was just a fine woodshed butt whooping that they took. And Kuda, I really seeing the fire out of Nico. He really tried. He busted his hump the whole game. He got his head knocked around 2 or 3 times.
He did. He was like, if anybody wanted to help him out this game, it would have been a whole different. The man was putting his body on the line, his head on the. Dude's already had a concussion this year.
Yeah, he cracked his helmet, so
he was taking hits. He wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the kid because everybody else didn't look like they wanted to be there.
And I don't know if they got down with when Dylan went down. Your SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So I hate that because I was really pulling. I know we got a couple Tennessee fans around here that is a little steamy about it. Sheldon Russell.
Yeah, I was talking to him last night. And he was same thing with Nico.
Yeah, I hate it, but again, I think Oklahoma or Ohio State and Texas played the best games out of all 8 of these teams for this round. Now, I know it's going to differ next round because we're starting to get into a little bit better competition. Oregon, Georgia.
Yeah. But here's the big one, after all those stats are done. Ohio State rematch inside the Rose Bowl, and they're actually favored right now against Oregon.
That is, I'm not.
That
big
comes on
playing,
New Year's Day, by the way.
I'm not big on playing 2 or 3 games of the same team, but this one I'm excited for. I'm gonna like this one.
You can keep that because to me that's the best competition. Oh, you got us once. Oh, we got you the second time. In case of the Georgia-Texas games, oh, we got you the first 2 times. Let's meet again in the national title. Let Georgia get another one.
Well, that goes back to like the Alabama when they went back and forth for them years of the SEC, then the national championship, stuff like that. So
I like it. To me, it's good football. I am along with you, or I've heard people alongside of you that have said, "Hey, I don't want to see these teams play 3 times." Yeah. I like it. It's great football because it's
all right. So
generically the 2 best teams.
All right, so you got a 2-loss team, and they're only 2 losses, like in the regular season game, the conference, and they're blowouts. It's like 50-3 or something like that. I don't want to see that again.
If it's the 2 best teams,
but how? But you're still blowing them out by I said.
Here's the thing, though. We're not getting off topic or anything, but if they're the 2 best teams, yeah, they played twice, and say Georgia and Texas are the best 2 teams, right?
Okay.
Georgia's beat Texas twice already. Texas is in the playoffs. Texas runs through this. I don't know who's on their side of the bracket. Oregon on their side of the bracket.
Oh,
so they beat Oregon. Yeah.
Yes, I think so. We'll look at it and hold up. I think I got it pulled up. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So if Texas beats Oregon, puts them in the national championship game, and Georgia beats Notre Dame, and then i.e. Penn State or Boise State, they're the 2 best teams.
I mean, like I said, I get where you're coming from, and I can get down with that. My thing is, I want to see good football. Like I said, we got trash this week, and I hate to say it because
it was, but like you said, you got to take into the fact the home field advantage.
Right. So now we're going to neutral site
bowl games this week.
Yeah. Now depending on how well your your team travels to have that advantage. I don't think there would be much in any of these games.
Well, my stream travels upstream. I don't know about yours, but
usually down my leg, but
either or.
But no, like I said, these are our quarterfinal brackets. We broke them down here. This is how they're going to line up. If you're watching our screen, Texas, Arizona State, game number 1. Number 2, Ohio State and Oregon. Probably the best matched up game that we got. I think so. Like I said, again, with the second or third time that they've played. But as far as I think,
to
Georgia,
me,
no,
you finish.
All right, to Georgia and Notre Dame, I mean, yes, we have seen Georgia struggle all year, find ways to get the win, but I think Georgia's going. Well, Beck's out, ain't he? Or have we heard?
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton. Yeah, Beck's out for the playoffs.
Huh. Okay,
it's Gunnar Stockton.
Okay, so I didn't know that, but I maybe still like Georgia. We'll get into that to the preview show. I like Boise State. I like Genty. I like his line. But the way Penn State played was really good. I think they got a chance to get into the semifinals.
So my thing here is that's at State, Florida State. I don't know where that's at. My thing here is, again, they did it again. On paper, Texas, Arizona State. A good matchup. Cam Scatterbo and Sam Levitt versus Quentin Ewers in that defense. Oregon, Ohio State. They've played once. Ohio State, little mess up, cost them the game. Good job, Will Howard. Another great matchup. Even this Penn State-Boise State game, a good matchup. Madden Maxson and Ashton Genty, the fan Heisman, I should say, going up against what looked like this week a pretty good Penn State defense.
Yes.
Good on paper. And then you get down on this Notre Dame-Georgia game. It's not good on paper. I don't think it is. Me personally, I think Georgia's going to win. I'm not a big fan of Notre Dame. Touchdown, Jesus, go ahead with it. But
so just to jump on, I found out today when I was doing some more research that Notre Dame only puts the name of their players on the back of their jerseys during playoff games.
I knew something looked different.
Well, I was flipping through TikTok or Instabook or whatever, and I noticed it, and it said a rarity or whatever that Notre Dame had their name on it, and they was like, why this, that? Only time they're in playoff games. I don't know if it's for any other sports, but we don't see many of them in other sports being there. But that's cool little fun fact for Touchdown Jesus.
I don't. I'm a stick calm, and I stay with the Bulldogs that game because it's just
definitely.
I don't see Notre Dame. Notre Dame has never beat Georgia, from what if my numbers are correct, or never beat Kirby Smart. It's one or the other. I don't remember. Well, if you ain't beat Georgia, you ain't beat Kirby Smart. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know which one it is. I heard about it, and then we'll talk about it at work the other week. But I see what I see in this next round coming in is Oregon, Boise State, Georgia, Arizona State.
That's not too far from mine. I still like Texas. Like I said, I know we're going to break this down a little bit more on our.
This is just kind of like hitting it before we.
Right, man. I really can't say that toss up between that Ohio State Oregon game could be an epic matchup, but we don't want it to be like everything's good on paper like we had last week, and
that's why I said that.
Yeah, we kind of get 4 trash games. Man, I don't know that Penn State defense really inspired me for them. And as much as I like Boise State and Genty, I think I might go Penn State, but I did more numbers. And then again, I like Georgia. Georgia's got so many weapons around them, not just Beck. And as good as we've seen Connor Stockton play in the SEC championship, I think he's ready for this game. So
against Texas, I would say he played against Texas.
True. Yeah.
To me, is the number 3 team in the nation.
Yeah, and having the best defense. I think they are the number 1 defense in the nation.
Yeah.
Texas is. So,
but the reason I go with Arizona State, I like Texas. I think honestly Texas can win this game. Honestly, actually, any of these teams on the screen can win a game. Win their games. So I'm not worried about it. Oh, it's hard to pick these games. But I'm saying Arizona State because I like Scatterbo. I like Levitt.
Mm-hmm.
Texas got a good defense, though.
Yeah,
but
that's
can
the
they hold Blue? Can that Arizona State team hold Blue? And does another SEC team fall?
Did Windsor come back in the game for Texas?
I didn't see him.
But before he went out, he was being electric, and man, that's a heck of a combo you got with him and.
That's not even their first 2-string running backs.
I know that's the crazy part.
That is a crazy car right there.
All right, I don't even know what next slide I have, but before we go totally off the rails,
update on the best all-time logo tournament challenge. We had Georgia and Florida, or Florida and Georgia this past week. There's a quick hit at the Florida logos.
You got my drum roll?
Ooh,
yeah, nuts, man. Why are you not see now? Anticlimactic much?
Not the Chinese. Mean Albert. For the
I
win.
like this one. Again, this was like we talked about in the previous show for this one. I like it. He's just the aggressive, fired up, ready to bite some hindies. So
technically he's got 2 of the logos on him, so because he's got the old school.
Well, he has the old school. So, like you called it, the baseball logo on the F.
It works. Like Jud said last week, you ain't got to do much to, or what? I don't know what he said. I can't quote the greatness, but
yeah, right.
But next we got Georgia. Solid 4 picks here. Like you said, the 1940. He looks mean, but he looks kind of like he got some amphetamines in him.
Well, with the Georgia, that could be in that Fulton County jail with the rest of them.
I ain't got no shit, but I got the thing. I did like him. I think if they did retro version of it with the 1960s logo and the collar style, it would probably be a favorite and a banger in most of these. But my favorite was the 3 here. And if I want to say correctly, that's your winner. 1960s as well.
Yeah.
Georgia Bowl.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's probably. Like you said, I do like the 40s and logos that they had. I thought they were a cool retro, just a kind of rough drawing of a dog. But that's probably my favorite. Like you said, the spike collar, the slack jaw, the crooked hat. Like he just walked out of one of them bars after a fight and got hit with a pool stick and took a chair to the teeth kind of thing. So, yeah, this is most definitely my favorite of the Georgia as well.
Yeah, I do. I like both of them. Honestly, none of the ones so far this one, I really got no flat back from. Arkansas, great choice, I guess.
Yeah, well, the great thing about Arkansas, they had so many. And like I said.
So many, but there was so many that all they did was change a color or
yeah. The 70s was that the black one with the meth fueled pig and stuff like that. Them were kind of cool. Just the them kind of things. But as we jump to our next one, there wasn't really a whole lot. I looked. I found some retro concepts, but as far as logos, the Kentucky Wildcats are fairly the same and simple. They really haven't changed that much. Especially once you go from the 80s to where we're at now. The 70s, that's a really cool retro logo.
It is, and on the 70s, they take the head. So 70s, for our listener users, 70s is the state of Kentucky with the Wildcat head in it. And then 10 more years to the 80s, it's the infamous, one of my favorites, Wildcat trying to scratch it through the UK. So they take that 70s head and throw it on and make a body of it. So they're keeping the same concept here, which I love. And then when the 90s comes around, they drop the cap and just do the plain UK in the old school 70s colors. And then now they're doing a darker blue.
They could have, as far as this, I said the 80s is probably my favorite, and this is a lot. We said we want to try to stay away from basketball logos, but this was a university in the 80s logo as far as using for all sports. But now if they would take that current logo and use it with the 80s logo with the black, I know black is not their primary, but they do have some alternate jerseys in basketball and some of their retro football jerseys. That black and blue pops super good.
My favorite is their basketball logo now, just the Wildcat head with the Nike sign up under it. That's my favorite.
Well, see, I didn't know that till we got started doing this, and I think one of the first 2 shows you had put it on, and I was like, I don't know who the heck that is. And then I looked at it. It's okay.
It's good for basketball. It's a good basketball logo.
Basketball. Fine time yesterday. But anyway, that's beside the point, fans. I'm going to get these up possibly today, tomorrow maybe. Go ahead and get these on or at least get them on Facebook. Todd can get them to the other appropriate channels so we can get this. And our tournament is slowly coming together for the best SEC logo of all time.
Remember, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Spotify, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, follow us on. There's one I'm missing.
What's that? Here. Follow, like. Kel can do it right off. Like, subscribe,
like, comment, and subscribe. Like, subscribe, and comment, or whatever it is. Like and subscribe.
Thanks for making the call to go under review. Join us next time as we go to the monitors. Until then, keep your flag handy.